The next skill we are going to talk about is the concept of yes and.
Yes.
Yes and is broken down into two simple aspects. There's the yes and the and. The yes is the acknowledgement of whatever is being said or done. It's a validation that that thing exists. And then to show that you are validating even more, you add to it with that and. This is a fundamental principle, thank you, principle of improvisation. Mm-hmm. So the grounding principle. What it allows people in improv to do is to keep a scene going forward. Since you never say no, which would stop something from going forward, you say yes and you add to it, so both people or all people in the scene are on the same page and it moves it forward. How we use this in an Alzheimer's communication technique is in almost the exact same way. We validate and acknowledge with a yes to whatever is presented, and then we say and we add to it, showing the person we're in an interaction with that we are on the same page.
So basically, yes and can continue a conversation, keep it going, no matter what contribution they add to the conversation. Think of it as a gift. Think of what their contribution is as a gift. So you can take that, yes and it, and continue the conversation. Or you can use yes and as a redirecting tool to redirect them from the thought of, I need to leave, I need to go home now. You can go along with them, but you kind of redirect their energy and redirect where their focus is so that they might not feel as anxious.
And so we are going to do a simple exercise that will work on yes and. We're going to sort of revisit an exercise in a sense. When we were talking about awareness, you had the exercise of the shared story, where you're going back and forth being aware. What you didn't realize is you were subtly using yes and without realizing it. We're going to add to that and do a shared memory exercise. Now the concept of this is that we have a shared memory, in this case Miranda and I, and we're going to be making that up as we go. One person starts with something, and what we're adding to it, in this case, this exercise, is Miranda says something, I then would respond by saying yes, and I'd repeat what Miranda said, then say and add to it. Mm-hmm. Then Miranda would say yes and repeat what I said and say and, actually saying yes and within the context. Mm-hmm. So here's an example. I really loved that time when we went to Woodstock.
Yes, I remember the time that we went to Woodstock, and it is also one of my favorite memories of 2007.
Yes, I know that it was one of your favorite memories of 2007. That's why I brought it up, because I want to go back there with you.
Yes, I hear that you want to go back with me, and I would be happy to do that, but this time I think we should take the long route, because the first time we went, we took the short route.
Yes, I hear that you would like to take the long route, and I think it would show the beautiful landscape and foolery.
I do think it would show the beautiful landscape and foolery, and I do hope that we'll see that barn that we saw the first time on the way there.
So, this can go on for a long time. Now, I'm going to do an aside, a little note that I'd like to add. When I first learned this, one of our exercises we were told was just have this conversation and yes and with some loved one. And I had a conversation with my mom where I just yes anded. I didn't tell her I was doing that. And afterwards, I kid you not, she said, this was one of the best conversations we've ever had. So you don't necessarily need to use it only with individuals with Alzheimer's or dementia. It works great in general conversation, but especially for this population.